Welcome to the High Stakes Fantasy Network podcast, brought to you by PlayNFC.com.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the High Stakes Fantasy Network. I'm your host, Greg Ambrosius, and I'm with my special guest here, my good friend, Brady Tinker, NFFC Hall of Famer, the best auctioneer in the industry, and hopefully tonight, the best cut line player in the industry. Brady, how you doing, my friend?
I think we've already established that. I've knocked around plenty of your high-end guys in cut line through the years. I think mostly in baseball, though, so this will be new.
Come on, we got $70,000 on the line. You know you could use $70,000, right? So
sure, absolutely. You can't believe how expensive it is to become a real estate agent. All you do is just hand out money.
Really? You're supposed to be getting the money on real estate.
Turns out you're supposed to be selling houses, yeah.
Yeah. So I did not see you in baseball. It was the very first time you did not make it out to baseball. You have been to football every single year. This year you'll be at Park MGM Wednesday, September 4th through September 7th, your 21st year with us. You're looking good, my friend. I hope you're feeling good.
I feel good. I'm happy to be here. It's been a not terrible summer here in Texas, to be honest with you. I know people think it's been awful, but we had last year 14 days over 109 straight up temperature and like 40 days in the hundreds. So it hasn't really gotten hot here until the last 10 or 15 days. I'm not griping. It's been fine. It's been fine. I love Texas.
Well, everybody's looking forward to seeing you in Las Vegas. So tonight we have the NFFC Cutline Championship. It is a 10-team, 26-round draft. It is best ball scoring for the first 10 weeks. We call this a hybrid best ball because there are 3 fab periods after week 2, week 6, and week 10. So while it's best ball, you can still improve your team if you get injuries and such like that. It's a key component of this. Again, $175 grand prize or $175 entry fee, $350 to first place, $100 to second place, and then $70,000 to the grand champion. Basically, after week 10, you got to survive a cut line. We cut down to like 25% after week 12, after week 14, 15, 16. Then there's only 12 teams at the final table. It's like the World Series of Poker. 12 teams at the final table. Brady, you got the 4th pick. Are you ready for this? Do you know who you want?
Absolutely.
Have you been prepared?
I'm totally. You should see all these notes. Actually, I don't have hardly any notes. It's all right here. See this? You see this? I was a fantasy football television guru. Oh, someone's already made a pick. I got to go make a pick.
All right, you're 4th. Tyreek Hill first. Absolutely. Brady and I'm thinking about this, Brady. It was 27 years ago. We did Fantasy Football Weekly together in 1997. Met you at the end of August. We did fantasy football. We were ahead of our time, damn it. We were ahead of our time.
We were, and we knew it was going to be great. I still remember vividly you and I sitting in that hotel room in Las Vegas saying, we need to be doing this by ourselves.
Yep.
And you have done marvelous. The work that you have done, your companies through the years, the people who have supported you, all that you've done, you turn out to be one of the premier people in this industry 27 years after we got together.
Absolutely. Thank you much. I appreciate it. All right. You are on the clock. Your CD Lamb went right in front of you. Hill.
I'm from Kansas City, Holmes. But I'm not picking anybody from Kansas City in the first round.
No, but you do live in Dallas. You do cover the Cowboys. Did.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Chase. Explain that one. You must have confidence in Burrow, right?
It was a hard one to do. I thought about this a long time today because if there's a team that I hate being from Kansas City, it is the damn Bengals, and it is their quarterback. But that's his old roommate, his best friend. That quarterback is healthy. They are a very good team, and they are a passing team. So it was hard to pass on him. Bijan was probably who I would have picked otherwise at this point. But I'm good with that pick.
I like it. All right. Breece Hall goes to team 5. He does go ahead of Bijan, not to throw out a name that hasn't been drafted, but absolutely it's interesting. Amon-Ra St. Brown goes to team 6. All right. We got a lot of people in the room here already. Post a chat question or a comment in the chat. Sure. Ask Brady anything. We're going to talk about it tonight. I'm having a spotted cow. Brady, I know you've never had a spotted cow because it's only distributed in Wisconsin. So cheers to you, my friend.
Cheers to you, buddy. I am drinking good old bottled water that they say may be killing me in itself, but I hope it's not.
Bijan Robinson goes to team 7. That's a little bit low for him. And then Justin Jefferson to team 8. Let me just check. Bijan's ADP in the cut line the last week is 4. So interesting there. Breece Hall is 5. He's been going after him. So interesting little start here.
Very good.
A.J. Brown goes team 9. So again, now we're going to watch the team roster builds here because in the cut line, 10 teams, you don't have to get a certain position. The depth here is unbelievable. And that's what you want, is you want as much depth as possible because it's best ball scoring, obviously.
Yeah, right. Depth and upside guys, right? Guys that blow up, right? So a Gabe Davis, who I hate in regular fantasy through his years in Buffalo, is actually pretty good in this format because he does have his blow up weeks and he has his 0 weeks.
Absolutely. You got some wide receivers in Kansas City that you could say the same thing about, right? So
absolutely. Yeah.
I must ask you though, you're in Dallas.
Yeah.
What's the deal with CeeDee Lamb? I mean, are they going to sign him? What's Jerry doing?
This is just Jerry, right? It can't be about CD. It has to be about Jerry. We've seen him do this with Emmett going back, right? We saw him do this with Zeke. There is no reason. The market's been set. He's definitely signing him. All this does is take away from the team. All those years that I spent on the sidelines in Oxnard and everywhere else with these guys, everyone being there is a big deal. Right. There is a rhythm and a chemistry to it.
Absolutely.
The best player not being on the field throws everything else off. You say, well, it maybe gives everybody else more opportunities. It does. But this isn't how it's going to go in the regular season. Right. It's going to go all eyes on that guy, which then opens this guy up. So I don't know what he's doing, but I've seen it before. And the bottom line is any way to get eyeballs on the organization, Jerry's going to take. And first of all, he always likes the story to be about him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Adam. I took the kids to the Dells, bought some spotted cow. My man, I used to live in Baraboo, which was 12 minutes from Wisconsin Dells. Spent many days, afternoons in the summer at the Dells. Still love the Dells. Take the kids to the wilderness to this day. But there's nothing better than spotted cow in Wisconsin, I'm telling you right now. All right. Team 10 goes with Garrett Wilson, who, man, he's been shooting up an awful lot of drafts in the NFFC. People are starting to believe that Rodgers is going to be healthy. He goes with Saquon Barkley there. And then Marvin Harrison, 12th overall. He's been going at the end of the first round, early second round in RotoWire Online Championships in the prime time. Goes 12 right here. So much upside.
I would have been.
Are you afraid of rookie wide receivers at all or not?
No, I'm afraid. I am afraid of their quarterback a little bit. I covered him in high school here, and he was the best player, and everyone carried his bags. But watching him so far in his professional career, there seems to lack off and on a little bit of want to for a guy who can get out of the pocket and create first downs. The minute he sees man-to-man and people turning around going the other way, he can get out of there and get first downs left and right like Mahomes does, right? The minute Mahomes sees man-to-man and people turning around looking that way, he knows he's got 5 to 8 yards if he wants it any time, and he takes it every time. And that kid doesn't. And there's been, for me, as I put eyes on him, especially as he's gotten older, especially in the professional ranks, money changes people sometimes. I got to make a pick.
Yep. All right, you are up. Team 5 goes running back right there. Very interesting. Jonathan Taylor falls.
I might have done that too, to be honest with you.
Taking Jonathan Taylor?
No, thought about it.
All right, Chris Olave. Tom will like you for that one because he's all over Olave this year, but nice little start with wide receiver. Again, this is a math game. You want as many points as possible, and the wide receivers can get you 20 a game. So don't be surprised to see multiple teams start out wide receiver. Team 9 did it. Team 6 did it. Team 4. Let's see what Team 1 and Team 3 do. Team 5, back-to-back running backs, certainly can work in this format. You load up on the wide receivers after that, and you got 2 guys getting you 16 to 20 points a week. Derrick Henry goes to Team 3. Now, this is not third-round reversal. In all of our contests, we use third-round reversal, except for the Cut Line Championship and the $25 and $50 best balls. So Devontae Adams goes to Team 2. Starting out McCaffrey, Adams, and Kyron Williams. Okay, so we only had 3 teams that went wide receiver. Tom and I and Jeff talked about this on the live stream yesterday. It seems like more teams are trying to get a running back with one of their first 2 picks in the 12-teamers. And in the 10-teamer, it doesn't look any different right now. All right, so we need some comments here. I can't believe nobody's got a question for Brady. If you're in the chat or if you're in the room here, somebody put a question, a comment. tell Brady he looks good with those red glasses on. Anything. Put anything in there.
Anything you want. You can ask me anything, I'll tell you.
Yeah, he'll answer
You can ask me anything, I'll tell you.
And I told you, I just got a haircut today, so I'm ready for Vegas.
Yeah, you look good. You look good. You really do.
It's a summer up here. I'm having fun on the lake.
I've got two players. Damn. All right, I've only got. Let's see.
Pacheco has definitely been moving on up. We talk about an online championship. There's 11 running backs that seem to go in the first 23, 24 picks. Sometimes Pacheco falls out of the second round in 12 teamers, but I mean, what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we got 9 running backs right now. Again, it seems like that top 11, and then there's a fall off after that. So Mike Evans, Brady is on the clock. You got a lot of choices here. You're taking one of the top 11, Travis Etienne.
I would have taken Pacheco there just in the homerism of being a Chief fan, and it would have fit there in round 3 as well. But I'm happy with that Etienne. I am.
All right, we got a question for both of us, I guess.
Yeah.
Captain asks, are we worried about Sam Laporta's hamstring injury?
Sam Laporta is going a little higher ADP-wise than I want him anyway. For me, and there's a lot of tight ends, so that's a position.
Yep.
It's a position I'm going to fade a little bit. I'm going to load up on wide receivers. I'm going to wait on quarterbacks and tight ends for the most part. Although six-point touchdowns in this game makes a difference.
Yeah, there's a lot of quarterbacks though in this format in a 10-teamer. So I understand, and I agree. I think the tight end position is as deep as I can remember it in a long time, but deep with really young guys who have even more upside. Yeah, we're not mentioning names, but these top guys outside of Kelsey are second and third year guys and very, very young. So the question there, one of the things with these hamstring injuries or little injuries, they're not going to play in the preseason, so you don't really know how they're doing. Now we got 2 weeks where they're just going to have closed practices and we're not going to hear a whole lot. So what you saw from him is the worst is probably going to get, you would hope. But
I certainly worry about that with Ayuk and CD. You always worry about soft tissue injuries, right? With these guys who I mean, and Ayuk's in camp. He's just not doing much, right? He's working out by himself on the sidelines. You see that a lot. So I think, that's goodwill from him. He wants to stay there. I can't really figure that one out either. Why don't they just sign him? I know they have left tackle issues as well, right? Yeah. They have 2 of their premier players who need to get paid. And it may be something they may not be able to do, but
absolutely. And
that's a different team without that's a different team without Ayuk and their left tackle. I mean,
absolutely.
I watched them a week or so ago, and Purdy got hit 4 times in 2 drives, pretty hard.
Yeah, trust me, they need Williams more than they need Ayuk. They need them both, but definitely Ayuk. Travis is asking you. Do you draft any different for this cut line, which again is 10 teams best ball, than you would 12-team managed leagues? Well, I think the answer would be yes, but I'll ask you.
Yeah, the answer is yes. Best ball, I like doing this. I especially like it for baseball because there are so many teams and the season is so long. But best ball is certainly a different animal. I'm always looking for that guy who has big weeks, right? Yeah. My personal league that I'm in with a bunch of my best friends, which is relative high dollar, we pay lots for long touchdowns, right? We give a 3-point bonus for over 30, a 4-point bonus for over 40, or excuse me, a 4-point bonus for over 40 and a 5-point bonus for over 50. We give bonuses for everything that happens that are big plays. So Devon Achane just got picked. He will go relatively early, maybe a skosh early in my league because of his ability to take it to the house every time he touches it.
Yep.
So I considered him actually in the 3rd round as well, just because of his big upside.
Well, he's one of the top 11. So you saw those 11 running backs, and you're absolutely right. You had a choice between either one of those guys that could hit big. Pacheco, you didn't get a chance for him, but that's the 11 running backs right there. Now, Jacobs and Cook going this quickly after the other 11 running backs. We're not seeing that an awful lot.
Well, what are you? You're there. I'm a Josh Jacobs fan, but there are certainly reasons in the last couple of years to kind of go, meh. But on the other hand, I love him with that quarterback and all those weapons. That's a pretty good offensive line. It should work. He's pretty good with the zone blocking scheme, right? I like it, but I have my worries about him. What are you hearing there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was very good 2 years ago. And then last year he was injured and hobbled around and didn't perform. And the offensive line was terrible. Yeah. It was let's just call it a ballsy signing by the Packers, right? To let Aaron Jones leave, who was admired in the locker room, did everything. He was the difference maker at Dallas, San Francisco. He was so good. He was so good at the end of the year. To let him go and then to sign this guy at a big contract. And then he comes into camp and he still has a hamstring injury. He hasn't played. He hasn't practiced very much because he still has a hamstring injury. They're saying they're babying him, but Dillon got hurt. He's got a stinger. Marshawn Lloyd got hurt. They don't have a healthy running back right now. So, but otherwise, I agree with you. He's in the perfect offense. They're going to use him on screens and pass to him more than they have in the past with Jones, I think. So the upside is very, very good. But he's got to stay healthy. No two ways about it. He's got to stay healthy.
Got to stay healthy. And he's one of those guys I kind of always tied some of his health issues to his overall level of interest. Mm-hmm. When he's interested and is feeling his oats, we remember that wonderful year he had a couple of years ago. I'm happy to make this pick too in this format.
All right.
I'm happy to pick DK Metcalf there at this point. He falls right into round 4 where I wanted him early round 4. I have a feeling that DK's ready for the year he had, 3 years ago? I pick him over some others just because of the amount of targets. Jackson Smith-Njigba's going to get a few more targets than he did last year, but when DK's in the right mood as well, he is an absolute beast.
Yep,
I love him.
Right.
I love him.
About Bijan Robinson, what we're thinking about him. I love Bijan. I mean, I was in a best ball with Brady last week, and I had the 3rd pick, and I took Bijan. I mean, I just think as an anchor, you can go with a hero running back approach at that point. You can kind of see Team 7 doing that. He's got 2 wide receivers, a tight end, and he's just going to build around Bijan and fill in on that second running back later. So
yeah, and we were on the phone together, and I was telling you I was going to take Bijan, and we started talking, and I'm like, all right. I lay eyes on Dak and CD for the last 4 years. There is a chemistry there that is rare in the league, especially at this level. So I flipped and took CD, which made you very happy.
Well, what made me happy, but you did double up with Dak and CD, and in the best ball, that's fabulous, right? Yeah. So I thought you did it really well. I liked your team, but yeah, I wanted Bijan. I was going to take Breece Hall if I didn't get Bijan. I feel like they're almost interchangeable with the offenses, but yeah, Atlanta's offense is worrisome, but Kirk loves to hit the tight end. He likes the dump off pass. I think he's going to use Bijan in the screen more. We saw the talent last year. The coaching was just horrendous, right? Arthur Smith deserved to get fired. The coaching was terrible. So I'm not worried about Bijan at all. I think they're going to use him a lot better here. So I do want to take a look at round 3 as Brady's going to be up pretty soon, but Deebo Samuel went 6 picks before Brandon Ayuk, and we have not been seeing that. Ayuk's been going before Deebo, but they've been getting closer and closer. So Deebo at 30 looks like a pretty good deal there. Again, Kelsey is the first tight end off the board, going to Team 7. We're not seeing that as much. Him and Laporta are pretty close to each other. And there you got Dalton Kincaid. We talked about that in the live stream yesterday with Tom and Jeff. My goodness, Kincaid could have 80, 90 catches. How many red zones catches he's going to have? That's the question. Can he score touchdowns in this offense? All right. Joe Mixon. That's a guy we've been talking a lot about too. Everybody wants a piece of that Houston offense.
That's exactly the reason I did it. And to be honest with you, I might have skipped Mixon and taken T. Higgins if I didn't have Jamar Chase. I think Higgins is tired of not getting paid. He's not going to get paid. He's going to end up somewhere else. This is a pretty good year to have Higgins, who, when he stays healthy, is really, really good. I mean, that was a dream player for the Chiefs in the last few years. I knew it was never going to happen, but I think he's really a good player. And sitting there once again playing on the end of a 1-year contract, I think he'll be motivated. They're a good team, man. That's a scary offense.
Yep. Oh yeah, that offense.
But Mixon's a stat hound, and there are those guys, and in this game, right, in any fantasy game, I want stat hounds. I want guys, who are looking at their bubblegum card, right, who want to check their phone to see how many yards they got, how close they are to 100. I want that guy in fantasy games, and Mixon's that guy. Yep. And plus, when he's got this kind of variation around him, which he had in Cincinnati most of his career. He's really good, right? He doesn't have to touch it more than 15 to 18 times to have a really good game.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be a fun offense to watch for sure.
All right. No doubt.
we're looking at the stacks here as well. And team one became the first stacker, if you will. He went with Josh Allen and Dalton Kincaid. So, I mean, best ball. Those guys hook up for a couple. Boom, boom, boom. You're talking 40-point games, 20-plus point games for Kincaid. I like it. You can call the Mahomes Pacheco a stack, right? I mean, it's not a quarterback wide receiver hookup, but it's a quarterback running back. So team 5 did take Jalen Hurts right after you. We don't see a hookup yet. There's still time, though. The stacks have been very popular and very successful in the NFFC through the last 4 years. Maybe last year, not quite as much, but the 3 previous years, without a doubt, our overall champions did the stacks. Allen Diggs, Chase Burrow, Mahomes, Kelsey, huge stacks that just led people to $250,000 grand prizes. We'll see what happens this year, but it is a very popular strategy, if you will. And there you go. See, there's Team 10 goes with Lamar and Mark Andrews, both in Green Bay today. Going to be there tomorrow at Lambeau Field. I will not be there, Brady. I gave my tickets to my daughter. She's going to the.
That's nice of you. Let her go get a little feel for the NFL game. Plus, the game doesn't make any difference.
My Emily goes to all the games with me pretty much.
Does she?
We were at the Kansas City game on Sunday night. We met Tammy there and had a tailgate with Tammy. But, oh, man, that Kansas City Sunday night game was electric. I mean, Lambeau's fun with good games, but that game was just electric. It was so much fun. And Kansas City had to have brought 20,000 fans. I mean, 15,000 fans.
They travel great. They really do. They travel great. I still go to games. I'm getting a little old to go to games, but I still go to games in Kansas City when I'm at home just because it is 78,000 best friends.
Yeah. And they enjoyed every minute of Lambeau because Lambeau is different than Kansas City Stadium, Arrowhead Stadium, but it's the same, really, right? You know, the tailgating is all around that area. Everybody gets in the stadium early. Afterwards, nobody leaves. They're all out there tailgating, and everybody just had a blast. So, all right.
Well, Kansas City's never had this, right? They've never had this quarterback. I mean, Lenny Dawson in 1969 was on the sidelines with a Fresca smoking a Cool. He was. You know, it's a very famous picture, right, of him with his Fresca by his foot, smoking a Cool on the sidelines. I mean, he was the greatest quarterback the Chiefs ever had for any amount of time. Montana played for us for 3 years, took him to the AFC Championship game his first year, and that was a thrill for all of us in Kansas City. Montana and Marcus Allen, remember that?
Yeah.
I think the world hated it, but as a Chiefs fan, we hadn't had that many superstars, and all of a sudden we had 2 at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, I'm happy about this too.
Oh, that's very good. Oh, now we got ourselves a stack. I like it.
No.
Little one right now, Mixon and Stroud.
Oh, I'll stack it again.
People are watching. Don't be giving your strategies.
That's
all right. Come on, we need some chats here. Come on, who likes what team? How about Brady? Let's get some feedback on Brady's team here, huh? Come on.
Yeah.
Is this 70,000 worth or not? Let's get some chats going here. All right, I like it. 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, and a top QB. In fact, he could be in one of the top QBs, right, by the end of the year. So,
with 6 points passing touchdowns, he's fantastic. He's better than I thought he was going to be. I don't see any reason for him to have any regression. His team is just as good, if not better. I don't know what Diggs does for them, but I don't imagine that he can hurt them. I would imagine that that's a pretty close unit. As it stands now, with all the success they had. When teams begin to have success, then their culture gets better and they get good at kicking guys out or pushing guys aside who don't lend to the culture properly. So I don't think they'll have any issues in Houston. I think that head coach has got a good handle on that. I think everyone respects that kid at quarterback. God, he's good. He's better than I thought he was going to be. And boy,
I totally agree with you.
He's loaded with weapons. I personally didn't understand adding Diggs. But the chances are Diggs will give you his best on that team, no doubt.
All right, Kenny Magner's in this draft. Sack says Brady's got a solid start, but you're stealing his boys. So be good now.
Yeah.
All right, I want to point out team 1 while Brady's thinking here. Takes Josh Allen as the #1 QB and then takes Anthony Richardson after that. Now, you may say, why? But again, in best ball scoring, we know Richardson could have a blow-up game, right? So Josh Allen may have a 30-pointer, but Richardson could have a 40-pointer one week. And so there's nothing wrong with doubling up on quarterbacks and tripling up on quarterbacks. Trust me, at 6 points per passing TD. 15 seconds, Mr.
No,
TV.
I know it. I'm just having trouble deciding. After I said I was going to wait, I'm not going to wait anymore. I think Evan Engram is just going to get so many passes thrown his way again this year. I'll take it.
Yep, he was very good last year for sure. Seventh tight end off the board. Pitts goes to team 2 as the 6th tight end.
Yeah.
I mean, all of these guys, the first 4 guys certainly could have 80+ catches, 1,000+ yards, close to double-digit TDs, if you will. Mark Andrews, if he can stay healthy, my goodness, and that offense should be good.
No doubt.
I've been on Pitts this year. I've already said that. I went for him in an auction league. I think the talent's there. I think Cousins will dump it off. I think they'll use him better. So, and I'm in on Ingram. I mean, he really matured last year and found a home in Jacksonville.
Agreed. I just think that the number of targets will be bigger. I like Pitts' upside, and that was a tough decision between Ingram. I was choosing Ingram or Pitts there in round 6, correct? So,
yep. All right. Camden says he likes team 4 and team 5. Okay. I like team 4. I like team 5. Yeah. I like them all. With 10 teamers, I like them all.
Yeah, 10 teamers always look good, don't they? Everyone's going to win.
Absolutely. Camden says he's high on Nico. Certainly high on Nico. He's been going top 20 in a lot of drafts. Debo, again, the Ayuk situation. You're drafting Debo right now in the 3rd round, not only in the 10 teamers, but the 12 teamers as well. And if Ayuk does get traded, oh my goodness, for Debo, I think he could bust out big way. I actually liked him in the receivers. I don't know if you watched that on Netflix, but I thought it was very well done. Kittle and Debo were pretty cool in that series. Hey, my man Jordan Love just went. All right, he's been dropping every time I do a live stream, but he goes to team 6.
So let me throw this out there to those who are listening, and I'll get some input from them towards me. I'm in my high dollar league with my friends at home, and we have 2 keepers. So our options for keeper, you can only keep a keeper 1 year. So he's in, he's out, right? Anybody who had a keeper, he's in, he's out. So we picked up Puka Nacua was not drafted last year, and we picked him up in week 1. So he qualifies to be kept in round 6. So certainly we're going to do that. And then we have Ayuk, who we could keep in round 5 that we drafted, but we have Love in round 14. So initially I was thinking, I really like Love's value, but the thing is with keepers, everybody who does it, there's 24 keepers, including our 2. Round 1 ain't round 1 anymore, right? Everything is a round down. So as I thought about Love in round 14, I certainly like it, but I can probably get him in round 7 or 8 in our league versus Ayuk and players of his quality at round 5. It's just with the keepers, it's like, there's no good players left when you get to round 5. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so my feelings on this, if this was a keeper league longer than 1 year, then Love would be a keeper, right? You're like 14 and 12 or 10 or 13 and 12. But only 1 year, I'm not keeping him at round 14, even though that's the best value you could possibly get.
Right.
For 1 year. So I'm not going there.
That's what we were on Puka and Love, and we've switched, and we're going to Ayuk. So we'll get Ayuk in round 5 and Puka in round 6. Allows us to do anything we want to, right, in rounds 1 through 4.
Absolutely. That's what I would do. All right. Kyler Murray did go to team 8. We were talking about Kyler Murray. Yeah. He's teaming up with McBride. So we do have some stacks here. And again, team 10, he got Lamar early, but he also got Burrow because why not? Again, 6 points per passing TV. Oh my goodness. So much. All right. Adam asks, it's not a super flex league, your keeper league, right? And
no, it's not. It's not. No, it's
12 teams.
12 teams.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to hear anybody else's input if they think I'm off on that. And every day that Ayuk is out, I get a little more nervous, right, about what's going to happen there, or that he ends up in Cleveland or somewhere where I don't like his value nearly as much. I want him on that team. I want him on that San Francisco team.
They tried to trade him to like New England. He's like, no way.
Oh, I know. I know.
He wants to go to Washington because he's friends with Jaden Daniels. That's where he wants to go.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That still hurt his value at least this year.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, San Francisco is where you want him if you have Ayuk, no doubt about it. I mean, Washington, the rumor was that they were asking for Terry McLaurin back, and Washington said, no, we're not doing that.
I mean, the problem is if they lose Ayuk, they need someone to fill his spot.
Yeah.
They don't have that person. So I don't know why they're messing around anymore either. I mean,
I don't know why they're messing around.
Figure it out. You know, I've talked to Stephen Jones plenty of times about how he figures out all this money. And he basically looks at me one day and he's like, there's always a way.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Just leave me alone. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Yeah, no, they can get it done if they want to. And
Yeah.
I don't know why San Francisco would fool around like this. Their window of opportunity is now. It really is now. I know they got some young players, but they also have Trent Williams and Kittle's up there. And I mean, you've been so close, but you have not won it yet because of Kansas City. You got to be all in this year. I mean, you just really have to be.
Totally agree. I totally agree. Listen, the Chiefs could have lost both those last 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Could have lost all 3. Could have lost all 3. They were behind in all 3.
It's Mahomes. He won
They
all
just
3 of them.
They have that guy. They just do. So much fun.
Here, Adam, listen to you, and he's given his 2 cents. He agrees with me. Keep an Ayuk. 22 other keepers. Round 5 is very likely providing more value versus a 1 QB league. Absolutely. So, all right, we got a consensus, I think.
All right, that's good. That's good. Makes me feel better. Thanks for the input, everybody.
All right, again, I talked about Team 5, who's on the clock right now. Once he banged those 2 running backs, right, Breece Hall and Jonathan Taylor, basically 2 first-rounders and our 12-teamers. Now you just go crazy. He's got 4 wide receivers. He's got his QB. He can certainly go a lot of different ways here if he wants to. And he grabs another wide receiver. Again, best ball.
That's the first. Nuts. Godwin was who I wanted. I really like Godwin back in the slot more this year. I think his numbers are. I like him there a lot. So that one's me a pause for a second.
You want me to take that away from him and put him on your team? I got the capability.
I do. I know you do. I appreciate
do it all, you know.
It's one of the reasons we're friends. You have the power.
No, that's a good pick by Team 5.
Yeah, it was.
And again, 5 wide receivers. You may go, oh, he needed this position. No, this is best ball. 3 wide receivers and a flex. You start, as I can tell you, the quarterback. Oh, that I like. You want to talk about a best ball upside, right? It's so much better to have Christian Watson in a best ball.
It's the best thing. It's the best thing that he does. Now that he catches the ball, he goes deep and gets open deep so often. It's amazing. It's a shocking thing. You know, when you watch a lot of football like we do, you can see the guys who get open, right? That's why Wilson is a first-round pick. Watch Wilson for a minute at the Jets, and he's open.
Yep.
I mean, very few guys. Dell's open, right? Who else is open in this league? Genuinely open. Probably half a dozen guys, 10 guys tops, where you're like, oh, he's open. He gets open.
Because he definitely does. And in fact, Rodgers could not hit him when he was open the last year. Rodgers was here in 22. And last year, Love even admitted he was bad on the long ball, and they've been practicing an awful lot. Even the reporters are saying there's such a connection on the long ball this year.
What else? What's the story that I've been hearing about? He's had some miraculous leap forward with his issues with hamstrings and stuff like that, right?
They sent him to the University of Wisconsin at Madison to figure out why is he pulling these hamstrings. And so they tested his hamstrings, and because he has had so many pulls on the one leg, that one was 20% weaker. That one was at 80% compared to his right one, which was 100%, right? So he stayed there for 6 weeks, really strengthened that hamstring to where now both legs are the same strength. Now, listen, that happens, right? I mean, I was in a cast once, right? And my whole leg just atrophied. Well, if you're in a hamstring injury and you can't do any lifting or do anything, and you don't rehab it completely, you can certainly pull it again and again. So now they're really confident. Who knows? He may just pull his hamstring. He pulled his hamstring against Kansas City in that game on that reverse, and nobody touched him. He just went down. Yeah. All right.
Well, this one's a little reachy, but I'll explain why I'm doing it here in a minute. I'm tied to this. I'm tied to that kid. He never got healthy last year. Remember, everybody. If you drafted him last year as a number 1, then Tony Pollard hurt you.
Yep.
But Tony Pollard had surgery on both sides of his ankle and foot the year before, and wanted to play and wanted to be ready and wanted to be there from week 1, which he was, and he was never right. And really, talking to him last year, he would not tell anybody on camera, but he was never right. He felt better about week 12 or 13. But then all of a sudden they were pretty much a passing team, and the room of coaches was a little down on Tony Pollard at that time. I like him. I know he's got competition at that running back position, but Tony Pollard will not surprise me if he has 1,100 yards and 7 touchdowns, and I'd be happy with that there in what?
Well, he's looked much more explosive in the preseason. Last year, he just did not look explosive.
No, he never looked explosive,
No.
and he was just never right. And he would never talk to us about it on camera. He would talk to me about it off camera.
Yeah.
And he's like, I thought it was going to be better. I thought it healed pretty fast. I thought it, and he's like, but I'm watching myself, and I feel myself, and I'm not myself. I know he let a lot of people down last year, but. Anyway,
Sure.
I like him there. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if
I like it too. I like it as your
mine.
third running back there, and I do think he has a lot of upside. That's why when you hear coaches and staff and even reporters going, he'll be ready by week 1. They don't realize these guys need to be 100% to be as good as they can be. And
absolutely, Hollywood Brown ain't going to be ready for the Chiefs in week 1.
No.
And you know what? He's veteran enough. He won't try and play.
Yeah.
I'll bet week 3 for him would be my bet.
Yeah. All right, some interesting picks here again. We've got Team 6 with Love and Daniels. Again, sometimes when the quarterbacks go, they'll go in streaks here. Yep. You'll see that with the defenses. You'll see it with the kickers as well, because everybody wants to get 3 of each at least. And in the quarterbacks, you can get more than that. But and then Team 7, again, Kelsey, but he wants a piece of the Dallas offense. He takes Ferguson. Team 9 took Bowers, who I like an awful lot. I hope he's healthy enough. I mean, they're resting him this week because of the foot injury again. He wasn't the same last year, obviously, when he hurt his foot last year, the ankle. So, but this kid could be good. And then you got Kittle as his number 2 tight end. So some teams are starting to double up on the quarterbacks and the tight end. So we'll watch that. 9 rounds in 33 minutes. Again, these don't take very long. We'll stick with Brady through the first 11 or 12 rounds, and then we'll let him finish up here. But it's just our way to kind of show you this Cutline Championship. I sent out an email today. The Cutline Championship is not going to sell out. You can just feel it. It's going to be okay. But we've been slow. And so today we sold out this one with Brady, and then we got another one at 7 o'clock. People just missed Brady's, and they're like, keep me into 7. Maybe we'll get another one. We got another one. We got a chance for the 9 o'clock and the 11 o'clock. But I'm telling you, if you want return on investment in one of our contests, Cutline Championship is it for you this year. And
I absolutely love Cutline. I enjoy this format. I enjoy how quickly this draft moves. I like the little pivot in who would you take when, basically, because you're always it's very much like with it being best ball, you're always looking for that opportunity. Who's the guy who gets 30 3 times in a season who maybe doesn't do something else? Yep. I love that idea. I really do.
Yeah, a lot of people love the cut line, but at best ball, there's just so many options right now, whether it's underdog or wherever. And so best ball is a tough space right now. But I'm telling you, get into this one. All the prize money is guaranteed, and we'll finish at a good number. But you guys will have a better ROI than you expected. So, all right.
Hey, ask everybody out there, what are they doing about week 12? Every time I turn around, week 12 is a problem. I mean, it's oh my gosh, it's the big bye week. I've done 10 drafts and I've just got week 12 issues everywhere. You're just not worrying about it, because for the most part, I'm not until I get to like round 10. But every once in a while I look up and I'm like, well, that's great. I hardly can field a team in week 12.
Well, and I think week 14 has 6 teams on bye as well.
Okay.
So
apparently I like the week 12 guys.
Why does the NFL do stupid shit like that? I mean, okay, there's 32 teams. How about 4 teams on bye for 8 weeks, and then we're done with it? But no, we got 2 teams some weeks, 6 teams some weeks, 6 teams in week 14. First of all, for the NFL, you don't need a bye by week 14. You needed one by week 8 or week 9 or week 7 or week 10. Week 14. I mean, that's just not fair for those teams. So I don't know why the NFL does stuff like this. I really don't.
Yeah.
All right, like Team 8, Kyler Murray, and then Caleb Williams.
So it happened again, second time in 3 rounds. Brian Thomas was who I was going to pick, even though he was a week 12 guy. There's something about Keon Coleman and that quarterback, so I'm going week 12 again here too. That quarterback is so good.
Yep.
That I'm not going to be surprised when Keon Coleman is his favorite wide receiver.
Absolutely. Again, there's two very good rookie wide receivers, right? Brian Thomas and Keon Coleman.
Yep.
Both of them could do very well, especially in a best ball, because they just need some breakout weeks. Maybe they start out slow, but then all of a sudden they get it. So we'll definitely see what happens there. Let me see if I can get the draft board down one more time here so you can see everything. Get another rounds in. All right, there we go. I want to keep this on. All right, we'll go through round 12 here, and then we'll let it go. I got to let everyone know, Brady, I'm going to try something tomorrow. I'm going to do a podcast marathon where I'm going to do a draft at 1 o'clock and then a draft at 2 o'clock and a draft. I want people to see actual live results, and I'm just going to do it until I drop or until the spotted cows run out. But tomorrow is podcast marathon in the NFFC. I start at 1 Eastern with the RotoWire Online Championship, and I'm going to town. I'm going to do it by myself. I'm going to talk about life if I have to, but I just want to show people draft results because we're 2 weeks away from this drafting season ending, and I want overload. I want drafting overload in the NFFC.
Love it. Love it. Well, you know what? There was a Cowboy Life podcast when Jake and I got stuck during COVID and all of a sudden couldn't get to players. Yeah. And people emailed me and said, tell us about your, I'm a fan of the Bengals.
Yeah.
So I'm selecting Chase Brown there. Everybody said, tell us, about your career and how you got lucky. And I did, with my career.
Yep.
You met me, and I think you knew the story. I was on TV for the first time just before you got there, and came and did TV with me on Fox Sports, and getting, I was a salesman. I took that job at Prime Sports with Brad Mumm because I wanted to be on TV, but I did not go to college and get my degree in radio, TV, and film. It's something I always wanted to do, and actually parentally, I was kind of poo-pooed as a kid of that's not a career, all right? That's not a real life. Make a grown-up decision. So ended up in sales, doing fine into my late 20s, and I was like, I want to take a chance. My wife and I had bought a house. We'd saved a bunch of money. I said, give me 6 months. Give me 6 months to try and get in this business. And I met Norm Hitzges, who was a radio Hall of Famer and who was doing some television at the time. And he introduced me to the guys at Prime Sports who laughed at my desire to come in there and be on TV when my resume said I'd never been on TV. But they said, if you're destined to be on TV, and they're all sort of winking at each other, we'll give you an opportunity to be in the studio. The weeks that you're in town, the days that you're in town, you can be in the studio. We'll get you an IFB for your ear. We'll teach you how to read a teleprompter. And if you're meant to be on TV, well, I'll tell you what, I sold $2 million worth of sponsorships, those fantasy shows in my first year. Going around the country because it was national, right? And nobody really cared about fantasy that much, but it was national show. And then Fox Sports picked it up, and it was Fox. I was on TV to 54 million homes the first time I was on TV. Yeah. And it was a stroke of absolute luck. And I had a lot of fun doing a couple of episodes of, the opportunities that I got and the people that I got to meet. And it's
absolutely.
It
was
a lot of fun.
We were ahead of our time for one. When I was there, we were on Prime Sports Network, right? And then Fox bought Prime Sports. And so the next year, in '98, you were on Fox Sports Regional Network, and that was just huge, right? But Prime Sports was big, but
but it was regional, but they aired us nationally, right? Until 2001, that fantasy football and baseball show that I did were national. We were 54 million homes. That we did 2 shows a week, and then they would re-air them because Fox Sports needed programming.
Yeah, right.
So I was on again Thursday night at 10:30 p.m. and midnight on Friday and midnight on Saturday. I mean. So and the other thing was, it was funny. They never paid me until the last year that I was at Fox for being on TV. I only got paid for the sponsorships that I brought in. So every week I did 2 shows a week, but I would be on airplanes going out of town to raise more money for the shows. I remember that. I remember when Brad said, you're on, you get your chance. They already said, if you're terrible, they're going to fire you, but you get your chance, but I'm not paying you any more money for that.
Well,
so
I will just let everyone know the first time I met Brady, I was there for their baseball special. It was a 2-hour special. Norm Hitzges, they flew me in, and I'm doing the parts and stuff. I never met Brady. And when we were all done filming, we went up to the restaurant at the ballpark in Arlington, and a guy's on the field doing some pieces, like promo pieces and stuff. And it kept going takes and different takes and different takes. And Brad's like, this is the first time he's ever been on the air. I don't know if he's going to make it.
And it was a brutal setup because I didn't know anything. And so what they were trying to do was give me an opportunity to be in front of the camera in short bursts. Yeah. But they were saying, well, do 2-minute promos for the TV shows or for a sponsor. Well, dude, I didn't have a teleprompter.
Yeah. Right.
So I'm trying in my head as best I can to remember or to memorize a 2-minute promo without stopping.
Yeah.
And I would have never done that. I would have never done it in my life. I would have never done it. You can't remember everything for 2 minutes. And especially someone who's never done it before. I need a teleprompter. So that was the reason we kept that's the reason we kept breaking the takes was I couldn't remember it.
It was great. And then football, they asked us to do the weekly show. We did the 2-hour special with Larry Weissman of USA Today, and then Jim Knox came for the weekly one, and away we go. So, all right, that's a little storytelling. Maybe I'll get Brady on tomorrow somehow. I'll give him a call and get, it's like the marathon. I'll be
stacking again, boys.
There you go.
Stacking for my second tight end. I know this kid too. Schultz does a really good job of getting open for a guy who's not very athletic. That quarterback loves him.
So you got to like the stacking of the Houston offense. That's what you want, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, folks. We did the first 12 rounds here. We're going to let Brady do the last 14, but this is the NFFC Cutline Championship. Play NFFC.com. Play NFFC.com. We have cut lines every night at 7, 9, 11 Eastern time. We're trying to get some matinees. I think we'll get them tomorrow at 1 and 3 Eastern, but jump on in. And everybody, say hi to Brady when you see him in Las Vegas. And, man, it's been great to see you. I can hardly wait. You're going to get a big hug from me. All right, buddy?
I look forward to seeing everyone. It is it's a celebration for me every time I get to come see all of you and see one of my best friends in the world and Greg and our team. I hope everybody's coming out to Vegas. We have a great team, as you know. We've all been together for so long that it's a big celebration. And football's easy. Football's fun. It's easy. It's great.
Absolutely. Yep. We're going to be at Park MGM. We'll see Brady second weekend, so it's going to be great. Our facilitators are the best, Kim and Tammy and Terry and everybody there. So we'll see you there. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Team 3, good job there. You got your quarterback, and then you went back-to-back with Lawrence and Rogers. So this is what it's all about. Here go the quarterbacks. Should be fun. But thank you, everyone. Thank you, Brady. Everyone have a good night.
Buddy.
I'll see you tomorrow at 1 Eastern for the Marathon Podcast.
Call me if you need me on the marathon, brother. I'll talk to you.
I'm going to. All right. Prop me up.
All right.